Welcome back to Theme Park Wizard, and today we have some shocking news. I have some breaking news. So, this is basically what happened. Last night, I had a tip. Carly Wiesel on Twitter posted a tip saying some of the theme park guidelines that were supposed to be released this week, and are still, as of this writing, as of this video, supposed to be released tomorrow afternoon during Gavin Newsom's press conference for COVID-19. Some of the guidelines were 25% capacity. What else? We had no indoor queues. We had the typical stuff, mask required, and all the typical stuff. But there are two things. Well, also Fresh Baked. Dave from Fresh Baked, they got a cast member sent him a draft of the guidelines that they got as well for their division. And from all the guidelines proposed, between Carly's post and Dave's cast member friend, the two interesting things are the distance. It would be a 120-mile distance radius for people who can attend theme parks. So Disneyland, Universal, Six Flags, SeaWorld, meaning, yeah, so SeaWorld, I'm in this kind of the San Fernando Valley. I'm near Ventura County. I'm border of LA and Ventura County. Based on that 120-mile radius, I wouldn't be able to visit Legoland or SeaWorld, as those are 150 miles away from me. Those are in San Diego. I would be able to visit, though, Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm, which are only about 67 miles from me. Universal, of course, and Six Flags, which are 20 to 40 miles. Universal's 20 miles, and and Six Flags is 40 miles, 40 miles away from me. So I would not be able to go to San Diego parks, which is very interesting. 120-mile radius, which is again like a 2-hour drive here in Southern California without traffic, is one of the proposed guidelines. And another one that was not on Carly's post but was mentioned to David was the yellow tier. Now, for those of you not living in California, we're in a tier-based system for the Corona blueprint for safer recovery. There's purple, red, orange, and yellow. Purple is widespread. That's what LA County is in, and Ventura County. That means you have a case rate of higher than 7. It's the most restrictive tier, but there's still some up in indoor malls, nail salons, all that can open up. But it's the most restrictive tier. Then comes red, which is what Orange County is in. That includes movie theaters, indoor dining, 50% indoor retail instead of 25%. So that was helpful to downtown Disney because it allowed them to kind of increase the capacity a little bit. Then there's the orange tier. Orange tier is what Orange County was going to move into this week, but it's just a tiny spike in case. They're ebbing and flowing. They're like, to be in orange tier, you had to be here, and then Orange County was here, but then it went up and down and up and down and up and down, and eventually it averaged just a little bit up. So they're just right on the border of that orange tier, and that would included the reopening of bowling alleys and more indoor dining, more movie theater, more higher capacity for movie theaters and all that good stuff. Now, and the yellow tier is not everything is back to normal, but 50% capacity for like convention centers and the larger gathering things. But for a yellow tier, you have to have basically Orange County would have to have about 30 cases per day. Orange County currently has between 150 and 220 cases per day. So as you can see, they're not very close. And then to move into a different tier here in California, you have to wait 3 weeks. They have evaluations every 3 weeks. One was just on Tuesday. It's currently Thursday, so about 2 days ago. The next one is on October 20th. And a county has to remain whatever metrics for the tier they have to get to. They have to remain in those metrics for 2 consecutive weeks. So LA has to remain in the red tier red tier metrics for 2 consecutive weeks before it moves on October 20 to the red tier if it can. In Orange County, before it gets to the orange tier, has to basically under 200 cases, about 150 to 200, 150 to 180 cases like it was doing for 2 consecutive weeks, and then holding it on to that third week to moving into the orange tier. And of course, the yellow tier is another 3 weeks and about 30 cases per day there. So it's very difficult, and of course, Disneyland will be closer than Universal and Six Flags. Also, the San Diego Park, San Diego's in red, the substantial. That's again the third highest tier. So they're on the verge of going back to purple because UC San Diego opened as well, and gets a whole bunch of kids move back to their dorms, and they had a little coronavirus spike there, and that almost put San Diego County back into purple, but they barely evaded it, which is great for them. But this is very interesting because it's just impossible, basically, at this time, or it's impossible this year, and maybe even a couple months into next year, and maybe even until a vaccine for the larger counties to get to yellow. There are counties in yellow, and all of them are in Northern California, like past north of San Francisco. Because yes, there are hundreds of miles of coastline still north of San Francisco. A lot of people, or a decent amount of people, at least that I've come encountered with, that don't know anything about California, they think Oregon is kind of like 30 miles north of San Francisco, and that's absolutely not true. It's like another 3-hour drive at least to get to the Oregon border from San Francisco. And those very rural counties, a lot of them are actually in orange, but a decent amount of them are in the yellow tier. And LA County has 10.1 million people, so it's going to be very, very difficult for them to get to the yellow tier. Orange County, about 3 million people, same thing. So because of this, today, this evening, it was announced that Disney and Universal are telling Newsom to pause and not issue the guidelines tomorrow because they want to be consulted with them. Again, Newsom, those dynamic talks that he claims to be having, certainly weren't with CAPA or the theme park operators. CAPA was the California Association California Association of Parks and Amusement, I think. It's basically a massive union that all the major and small theme parks are associated with as well. And they wanted to be part of the process. And, they, once again, said Newsom didn't associate with them very much, or if at all, with these guidelines. Because they said they're too restrictive. Again, a yellow tier, if that is true, is very restrictive. They really could reopen it. I personally don't think theme parks need a tier. The other stuff, it can have a tier. They have a guideline, they have a tier, it makes sense. The theme parks themselves don't need a tier. Things inside the theme parks, like restaurants and shops, that should be what the tier is. So, Universal is in the purple tier. So their indoor shops can only have 25% capacity, and the restaurants should be only outdoors. But the theme park and ride should be able to open. Disneyland is in the orange tier, so they can have some indoor dining up to 25% capacity and whatever the outdoor and 50% outdoor capacity or whatever it is. That's when the tier should come into play. The theme parks themselves should not come into play, in my personal opinion. I think that's a fair compromise, and it makes sense. A restaurant, whether it's in a theme park or in a shopping mall or just by itself, so it can follow the same tier requirements. Same thing with shop. But a theme park and the rides should be completely different on their own thing, with their own safe guidelines that have been proven throughout the world and the rest of the United States, in Florida, in Nevada, and even New Jersey. New Jersey just opened its indoor theme park at the Great American Mall, whatever it's called, the American Dream Mall. They just opened that theme park today. With the same restrictions that every other theme park in the 47 states that have opened them. So that's my opinion on that. But obviously, Gavin Newsom does not think so. It's causing quite the quibble. So, of course, Disneyland laid off 28,000 cast members yesterday. So sorry to those cast members. I've been seeing again on social media. They've been speaking out. Josh D'Amaro was in downtown Disney today, apologizing and letting the cast members vent him, which is awesome. I still love the guy. He's such a heartfelt and caring dude, and it was a really difficult decision to make. I know people have their uh, different opinions on it because, again, Disney gave the full salaries back to their higher executives, but maybe it wasn't Josh's decision. Maybe it was probably Chapek said, "All right, Josh, you gotta lay off the park. You gotta lay off 28,000 people," and partially because California's not reopening. So, Josh, you gotta do it. Just do it. And so, Josh isn't CEO. Chapek is. So, blame Chapek. But also, blame Newsom for making it very, very difficult for these parks to reopen. But as you know, all these months, Bob Iger has been on the Economic Recovery Task Force all the way since April when it was formed. And I thought, and everyone else thought, oh my God, that's awesome because he's the major player, a major theme park player, and I think the Universal guy is on there too. If I'm not, at least in Florida he is, but I'm sure, and I think someone from Universal might be on there. But you think, oh my goodness, right? That's gonna help the theme parks reopen. But obviously it has not happened, and Bob Iger actually got so frustrated with those theme park reopening guidelines that about 20 minutes ago it was announced he quit. He resigned from the task force tonight, about 20 minutes before this video started. We're about 11 minutes in, so about 30 minutes ago now. This is fresh off the frying pan here. He resigned. Wow. That's crazy. The cities and states just don't seem like Disneyland lately. First, it was Anaheim a few years ago with the Eastern Gateway and the hotel. Now Anaheim loves Disneyland. They want them to reopen. Now it's the state that's having the issues, which is very, very interesting. So the Bob Iger quit. They wouldn't say why, but obviously it's because of the theme park, the reopening guidelines issues, and the company itself, and having some tension with Disney. So a lot going on right now. Again, they didn't say the guidelines won't be issued tomorrow, so I'll be probably doing another video tomorrow when I get off of work. Maybe I'll do it on my lunch break because Newsom has his press conferences at like noon, so maybe I'll do it on my lunch break, a video on if the reopening guidelines, whatever they are. But definitely stay tuned for that. But there's a lot of drama unfolding here. Unfortunately, again, those 28,000 cast members, at least 6,700 were in Walt Disney World, and a sizable chunk, if not the rest, but a sizable chunk here in Disneyland, whether it's in Anaheim or in Burbank or in the 400 people in Imagineering, 400 people at Walt Disney Imagineering, gone. So sad. They're the ones that make the beautiful, beautiful projects and design them and build them. So, gosh, I don't know how many people are left in Imagineering, but hopefully there's a sizable amount, or else, be glad that Tomorrowland is not Tomorrowland and the Hollywood backlot. Be glad that they're pushed indefinitely, because you don't want a small team of Imagineers working on a tight budget, working on those things. Those are very important projects. But I digress. Well, let me know in the comments below what you think about this situation. What do you think about Bob Iger leaving, the 28,000 cast members getting laid off, and them basically being used as a chip? Because Josh even said in his statement, it's all on you, California. Most of these cast members are gone because of you. So they're basically being used as the chip in a bargaining agreement here. That's not very cool. Hopefully most of them get rehired or find a different job or have some nice benefits. So sad, so sad. And what do you think about Iger leaving? And most importantly, one of the most important things, what do you think about the reopening guidelines? Do you think they're too strict? I think they're too strict. And what do you think about my idea of having the theme parks being on a different, like no tier, but the restaurants and retail stores being, the capacity will be changing based on what tier that county is in? That seems like a good compromise to me. The no indoor queues, I don't think. I think you can have indoor queues. Again, they have them in Florida. They have plexiglass everywhere, and they have them not just in Florida, but all over the world. They have indoor queues, so I don't know. I don't think that really matters, in my opinion. Because then, like some rides, like Star Tours, which have almost entirely indoor queues, even their extended queue outside is indoors. So that just can't open. Like I don't know. Rise of Resistance has a extended, a very long indoor queue. It's outdoors too, but I mean, it's part of the experience, the indoor queue. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below with all this news. Subscribe, definitely just keep track on this drama over here. Because, like I said, in less than 24 hours, I'll have yet another video providing updates on the guidelines and any other breaking news that forms with Bob Iger and the tension between Disney, Universal, and the state. It's funny how Six Flags didn't say anything. Knott's has said something, Legoland said something, SeaWorld has said something, Disney and Universal, of course, but Six Flags has stayed quite silent. But they still decided they want to charge me $9 a month for the pass, although they did give me the option to cancel or give me like a free platinum upgrade till 2022, so that's nice. But let me know what you guys think of all this Think Park news. Sorry, it's a bit of a longer video today. Wow, 16 minutes. I almost think I should have done a live stream, but there's just a lot to unpack here. So let me know if you watched this whole thing. Thank you so much for staying through. Thank you guys so much for also the 844 subscribers. We're almost at 850 and almost at 1,000. My little fan base is growing. My apprentices, my theme park wizard apprentices. So thank you guys so much for supporting me. Thank you guys for watching. Like the video. Share the video. It's very important you share the video. Get this information out to everyone. Subscribe for more theme park updates. And as always, have a fantastic night. My camera is not... Sorry, guys. My camera is not... If you guys are watching this all the way to the end, my iPhone's really messing up, and I don't know why.